With a staggeringly stinky 7-20 record at the time of this recording, the Timberwolves receive almost no national media attention. And other than the occasional Karl Anthony Towns hypothetical trade or Anthony Edwards hype, we frankly don't have a ton going on worth any national coverage. Now, why this really stinks is because the NBA's end of season awards are almost entirely dependent on media coverage. MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, Most Improved Player, all of these awards depend on two things. Do you have the counting stats, and do you have the narrative? Now, due to the lack of coverage in Minnesota, none of our guys have the narrative, and I think we have a guy who's being horribly overlooked for one of these end-of-season awards. Through the dark trial that has been the 2020-21 Timberwolves season, there has been one consistent beacon of rejoice for Wolves fans, and it has been Malik Beasley. There have been some other guys worth being excited about. Anthony Edwards is putting together a good rookie year and building a very nice highlight reel. Mac Daddy has been an absolute steal for the Wolves. He was the 28th pick in the draft, and he looks to be the future of the power forward position in Minnesota. Tack on Vando and Naz Reid and some other guys, we have some bright spots down the roster, but I don't think any of them have done so with such consistency as Malik Beasley. Today I'll make my case for Malik Beasley as the league's most improved player and how he and his incredible play this season affects the future of the Timberwolves. But before we really dig in, I just want to give a huge shout out to everybody who has been a part of the growth of this channel. We just passed 600 subs. Woo! Dancing Mellow, can we get your take on 600 subs? Dancing Mellow loves it. I love it. You love it. You just love to see it. Thanks for all the support. I'll keep the good stuff going. Now let's dig in. In the 2020-2021 season, Malik Beasley has been the Wolves' best player straight up. And I know that's a bit jarring of a statement because when you look at this team, we have two all-star caliber guys who are on max contracts. But when you really dig in, I think it's pretty apparent. Karl, while clearly our best player overall, has appeared in just 7 games thus far this season, and D'Angelo Russell has appeared in 20 contests, but throughout those games, he's averaging less points on less efficient splits than Beasley. Now, I'm not bringing this up to get you down on D'Lo or Cat. I'm mentioning this because I want to illustrate the leap Malik Beasley has made this year. More specifically, the leap he has made since joining the Timberwolves. Last season on the Nuggets, he was averaging just 8 points a game with 2 boards and 1 assist on some subpar shooting splits. His stats last season, post-trade, and his stats this season are nearly identical. 21 points a game, 5 boards, 2 assists a game. Now, this is very encouraging because the question throughout last offseason was, can he do that consistently? Can he be the guy he was in those 14 games last season throughout the entirety of this season? Was it just a hot stretch, or was it who he really is? And every indication so far is that it's just who he really is. Malik Beasley has been unlocked by the Wolves, and our faith in him as a go-to scorer is paying off for both parties. Beasley has been given the opportunity to ball out and show everyone what he's capable of, and the Wolves have an efficient 20-point-per-game scorer on a $15 million a year, 4-year contract. That is incredible bang for our buck. So let's talk about how this should apply to the Most Improved Player Award. Now, unfortunately, due to the lack of national coverage I discussed at the top of the video, this is an extreme long shot, even if it shouldn't be. All of the statistics say he should be in there with the front runners for the MIP award. So for comparison, we'll use Jeremy Grant and Christian Wood, who are both leading candidates. Starting with points per game, Beasley went from 11 points a game last season to 20.9 this year. Jeremy Grant went from 12 to 23, and Christian Wood went from 13 to 22. Now, allegedly, points per game isn't the only stat that matters, so let's take a look at assists and rebounds. Now, their assist and rebound numbers don't tell us anything crazy. Bees has had slight growth as a passer and strong growth as a rebounder. Grant has had strong development in both, and Wood hasn't grown at all as a passer, but has made a huge jump in rebounding. Now, efficiency-wise, Beasley and Grant's shooting splits are basically the same as last year. Wood has, however, skyrocketed from a 38% three-point shooter to a 42% three-point shooter. Now, that's enough number crunching for one video. The point I was hoping to communicate with those stats is that Beasley is right on pace with the leading MIP candidates in terms of statistical growth. However, unfortunately, due to his team and market situation, it doesn't seem like he's going to get even close to the recognition he deserves here. So even if a deserved MIP award is unlikely, how does his performance this season affect the future of the Timberwolves? Well, the very buff elephant in the room is Anthony Edwards. The number 1 pick from the 2020 NBA draft is having a strong rookie season, and his natural position of shooting guard is the same as Malik's natural position of shooting guard. So how does this positional conflict affect the Wolves' future? Honestly, it's to be determined. Ant has started 10 games this season, every one of them alongside Beasley. The determining factor of whether or not this is going to be an issue going forward is if they can exist in a starting lineup together. Namely, can Anthony Edwards comfortably play the small forward? If the Wolves don't like how Ant looks at the 3, or Ant doesn't like playing the 3, things are going to get very interesting very quick. That being said, Ant is totally ripped, and he's only 19, so he could still continue to grow. If he goes from the 6'4", 225 he started this season at, and grows to 6'6", 235, it might just make more sense for him to play the 3 anyways. So aside from positional fits, it's a positionless league, so let's just say that doesn't matter. Next comes the issue of fit. A starting lineup that features Karl-Anthony Towns, D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, and Anthony Edwards is a major logjam of scoring. All 4 of those guys are score-first type players. Karl is our clear-cut number 1 option. D'Angelo Russell does a good job of balancing scoring and sharing. So where things really get awkward in this potential lineup is Beasley and Anthony Edwards. Neither guy does a whole lot of passing, and there are only so many shots to go around, so sooner or later, the guy that's going to get cut off is Bees or Ant. How they fit side by side defensively is very dependent on Ant's growth, but as it stands, Bees is an average NBA defender, and Ant looks like he'll develop into an above-average NBA defender, so on that side of the ball, I'm not super worried, plus we're the Wolves, so who cares about defense anyways? Bees could either be the third piece of Minnesota's new era Big 3, or he could soon be one of the NBA's most desired trade targets, or he could be something in between. Time will tell, and when we look back on this season, at least up until this point, anybody who has sat and suffered through all of these Wolves games will be very, very thankful that Malik Beasley was here putting on a show.